I think we are live. Yes, my sources tell me we are live on the internet right now. Hey, everybody! Wow, we've got a bunch of people who have jumped on early. I love it that everyone is showing up right on time for these events these days. But I tell you what, I just want to give everybody 1 minute just to make sure that everyone is here before we get going. And I will say it's interesting. It's crazy how life works. Sometimes we're talking about loyalty at the car dealership today. And I kid you not, yesterday, as we were putting the finishing touches on this webinar, I actually got a phone call from my salesperson at the car dealership I bought my car from 6 years ago, following up with me to see how everything was going. So if that's not a sign that we're talking about the right thing today, I don't know what is. But you know what? I think our minute is up here, so let's just get this thing rolling. My name is Jason Stum, and I'm the Director of Marketing Strategy with Dealer Inspire. And for those of you who may be meeting us for just the first or second time, we are Dealer Inspire, and I'm just one of 600 passionate employees on a mission to future-proof dealerships with one connected platform that sells and services more vehicles more efficiently. That sells and services. Words, Jason. More vehicles more efficiently. Sorry, I had to take another take at that. Anyway, today we're going to take a look at customer loyalty. With inventory low and competition high, it's like essential we keep more of your own customers instead of fully relying on conquest advertising to win new ones. So today we're going to break down how you can build a retention marketing machine across channels to efficiently drive more reliable revenue from the customers you already have. This is going to be some next level stuff we're talking about here today, and we're going to need to do it because if you haven't seen, there's been some breaking news, and it turns out there's no loyalty in automotive. Okay, well, maybe not none, but certainly not enough. A recent study from IHS Market came out where they found that dealership loyalty rate is currently only at about 36%. Now, I'm no math whiz, but that basically means for every 3 people you sell a car to, 2 of them, they're going to buy their car, next car someplace else. And honestly, when you think about how much effort you put into each and every deal from that initial acquisition all the way up through delivery, seeing only a third of those customers come back to your dealership, it's kind of disheartening. And what that data found is that like loyalty rate, it's pretty consistent across urban dealers and rural dealers. And things aren't faring much better on the leasing front either, with only 44% of those customers returning to the dealership that they leased their vehicle from to get their new one. Now, look, building a loyal audience is tricky, and there's a ton of factors at play here. You know, for example, when we look at cars.com audience data, we see that many more shoppers start the process open to a variety of different makes. And really, that makes sense, right? When you're only buying a car every 3 to 8 years, for a good percentage of people, they want to at least explore their options, especially if there's been a change to their lifestyle since the last time they bought a car. And while a consumer might feel loyalty to a brand or an OEM, maintaining that connection with your dealership, that falls squarely on your shoulders. So when we look at this totally not made up loyalty equation, you'll see that building a loyal customer base goes beyond just providing a great in-store customer experience on the showroom floor or in the service lane. With those extended buying cycles, you only get a couple opportunities per year to build loyalty in person. So it's the other half of that equation, your marketing and your brand communications that allow you to actually build the connections with your customers to keep that relationship strong. And really, it's super important to understand the flip side of this loyalty coin, because if the average dealer is only keeping 36% of their customers, that means the other 64%, they're fair game to be conquested. So if you're not fighting to keep your own customers, there are other dealerships and industry disruptors out there trying to forcibly rip them away from you. And they're spending lots of money with their messaging, like the usual suspects, Carvana and Vroom. But there's like these new disruptors like Rocket Auto coming to market as well. And while these brands don't have a solid foundation of like transactional experiences to build loyalty from, they are front loading the marketing and communication side of their loyalty equations to really lean into the promise of what that transaction will be like when you buy a car from them. So look, I know some of you might be thinking, hey, we have nothing to worry about because our CSI scores, they're rock solid. And I'm not suggesting they're not, right? But the reality is customer satisfaction and customer loyalty, 2 different things, even though they might sound the same. Customer satisfaction is a feeling. A CSI survey measures the customer's sentiment about the events surrounding an experience from a specific moment or moments in time, whereas customer loyalty is an activity. It's built over time. It's through multiple positive transactional experiences. It's the way you market your brand. It's how you communicate with your customers. So you can have top marks with your CSI scores, but please keep in mind that that doesn't necessarily equate to loyalty all on its own. And so that is why we're here today. We are going to show you how to supercharge the marketing and communication side of that loyalty equation with a connected marketing strategy that includes implementing lifestyle email marketing initiatives that your customers will love. We'll talk about how you can build loyalty messaging on your website. From there, you'll discover how you can use your own first-party CRM data to target your customers on search and social. You'll get our best tips on how to create content that your customers will love, and search engines will too. And then we'll close it out with a demonstration of how you can improve your lease retention automatically. And like all of our webinars, I am just your host here on the show, and I'm going to need to bring in some expert level help here. So let's do this without any further ado. Joining me here on the show today are 4 awesome teammates who are subject matter experts through and through. First up, we have Emily McReynolds, one of our email marketing specialists. We also have Todd Cooper, Senior Performance Manager. We also have Amy Novotny, a digital advertising senior specialist. And rounding out this crew is Connor Bonham, our SEO supervisor. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, Jason.
I mean, all these smiling faces. Are you guys ready to talk loyalty?
Absolutely.
So can't wait.
Yes, I am so excited to do this. So let's do this. Emily, you're up first. Stay right there. Everyone else, get out of here. We'll see you all in a little bit. Here we go. Getting situated there. Okay, Emily, you're up, and you're going to be breaking down the crucial role that email plays in a dealership's loyalty building communication. So let's just do it. What you got?
All right, let's do it. So when it comes to staying connected with your customers, there really isn't a better way to do it than with email. And I might be a little bit biased, but I think that some of these stats will convince everyone else too. So for starters, you probably have close to 100% email capture rate, right? It's like one of the first things that we get when we're talking to a prospect. But don't fall into the trap of thinking that because email has been around for a couple of decades now, that somehow it's not useful, because it most certainly is. 65% of people check their inboxes 3 times or more daily. And I know that I am definitely guilty of this. It is the very first thing I do every morning. And only 4% of people check their inboxes less than daily. While texting is definitely an option, I think we should save those messages for when we really need that instant response.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the stat about email usage, because me, like you, I'm like, boom, email first thing every time. But I'm not going to hide it. I'm older. So my question to you is what about the kids today, Emily? Are they using email as much as people like in my generation are?
Yeah, I know it's easy to think that millennials and Gen Z don't have the same connection with email that other generations do, but that's just not the case. When it comes to both of those generations, email is still the most preferred and most personal way to engage with their favorite brands. So while these generations are certainly discovering products and brands on social media, when it comes to receiving brand communications, close to 2/3 say that email is where it's at.
Yeah, so email is still super important to like everybody.
Yes, exactly. But what I really need to be clear about, though, is when we're talking about using email to build loyalty, we are not talking about sending e-blasts. Blasting your sales offer, or in case of the email on the screen here, a copy of what looks to be a newspaper ad to every person in your database is not going to build a bond between you and your customer. There's a much better way to use email, and the best part is you really can do this yourself with some preparation and following some of these best practices.
Okay, Emily, I love me some email tips. So can you walk us through an example of how we and our viewers can become better email marketers?
Yeah, for sure. Take Doreen Green, for example. She's a proud owner of a new 2021 Ford Edge. She's getting her keys, and you can tell by the smile on her face, she's had a wonderful experience. She probably has really strong feelings about both your dealership and the OEM overall. But knowing that this is the last time we're going to see her for a while, we need to make sure that we're communicating with Doreen in a smart and effective way that will continue to nurture those positive sentiments about our dealership. And the best way we can do this is by implementing email drip campaigns, my favorite.
Mine too.
If you're not familiar with a drip campaign, it simply is a method for sending a sequence of pre-written emails to your customer automatically over a set period of time, based on when they purchased their vehicle in this case. So 2 days after Doreen is marked as sold in your CRM, she'd get a personalized and genuine thank you email from the owner or dealer principal. It's also a great time to ask her if she has any unanswered questions about her new vehicle, and a good time to remind her about that CSI survey that she's going to get real soon. But the main thing is that thank you. Does that make sense, Jason?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And who wouldn't like to get like that personalized email from an owner saying, hey, I appreciate you. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And after the email from the owner, the next email that goes out is one asking for an online review. I like to have this timed at about a week after they've taken delivery for a couple of reasons. First, that positive experience should still be fresh. But if for some reason there was an issue and the customer wasn't completely satisfied, then you'd be aware of it by now and hopefully have addressed it to their satisfaction. So this email should be sent from the salesperson assigned to the deal, and it's a personalized message asking Doreen to share her details and experience working with that salesperson and doing business with the dealership overall. In that email, you'd link to your Review Gen landing page on your website, which will directly connect the user to whatever review platform they're most comfortable leaving a review on, like Google, Facebook, Cars.com, or DealerRater. But speaking of DealerRater, you could leave that Review Gen email out of your drip campaign if you're a DealerRater customer and have the Connections Plus package, because that includes an awesome tool called Review Builder, which will collect reviews from your customers and intelligently distribute them to every review platform. And the great thing about Review Builder is that it syncs with your DMS and covers all of your sales and service customers too. But the best part is it really just works. Dealers who turn on Review Builder earn 5 times more reviews with 94% positivity rate, which is huge. Either way, whether you're sending that email as a part of your email drip campaign or letting Review Builder do it for you, you don't want to leave this step out of the loyalty building process.
Yeah, the reviews, not to get a spoiler alert for what's coming later, which you'll see are going to play a huge part in this. So this is a crucial step for sure. What comes after that review step, Emily?
Yeah, so I got a little excited there, but let's go back to the drip. After the 30-day mark, we want to reintroduce Doreen to our service department. We know that she won't be needing service for a few more months, but it's really important that we plant the seed of why Doreen wants to stick with our dealership for all of her service needs. So in this email, you'd introduce your service USPs, highlight your online service scheduler, include a coupon for her to hang on to her first visit. And the goal is to proactively answer a question that Doreen isn't even thinking about yet. So when that oil change light does come on, she already knows exactly what to do and where to go. And so those first 3 emails will be the same for all of your customers, but then from there, you can start to create your campaign that's tailored to the actual vehicle your customer purchased and whether they financed or leased it. In Doreen's case, she financed a Ford Edge. So our next email that we're going to send out is around when we'd expect her to be at that 7,500 mile service mark. In this email, there is a reminder about that service and a schedule service button, which links directly to your scheduler on your website. And of course, a coupon for that specific service.
Right. So we're getting into these emails starting after the 30 days. It's more about trying to predict what Doreen is going to need with her vehicle before she's even thinking about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. The companies that have the highest loyalty are the ones who understand the needs of their customers and are present at those times. And so after that 6-month email, the next time Doreen will be due to see us is for her 15,000 mile service. So we're timing that out at about around 1 year. And it's a similar email to the previous one. But as a side note, when you're setting up your drip campaigns, it's best to use your best judgment when to time those out on the majority of your customers. It's better to be early with that email than to be too late.
Yeah, which really makes sense. And you can build a buffer in there in these emails with your coupons by not having them expire at the end of the month, which I know typically with service coupons, we always want to drive it today. But in terms of these, let's build some flexibility in there, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that way, if the email is a month early, they'll still have time to use it, which again, like you said, so important. And for the next one at 22 months, that's when we would have this email timed to send out when Ford says that she should be checking on her tires to ensure they're still in good shape. So in this email, we're going to link to a blog post on our website that shows Doreen exactly how to check her tires. And then again, we're going to include a coupon just in case she discovers that she does indeed need a new set of tires. And then at 30 months, Doreen's vehicle would be due to have some fluids flush or top off. So we want to remind her of that in this email and explain why it's so important. And of course, again, that coupon's so important and to schedule that service. And then from there, as Doreen's vehicle turns 3, that's when we want to reach out to see if maybe it's time for an upgrade. So this email really should be asking Doreen if her Edge is still meeting all of her needs. You can certainly include a call to action to browse your inventory, but it's really all about that one-to-one connection and engaging Doreen in a conversation. So make sure you ask a direct question here to elicit a response from her and not just say, hey, look, we have cars.
We have cars. And which is really a great point, right? All these emails, they should be personalized because even though they're automated, that doesn't mean they have to feel automated, right? You can still make it feel like it's actually this one-to-one connection, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jason. Whether you're putting together drip campaigns or any other kind of mass marketing outreach, you should always strive to personalize those messages whenever possible. So, using the variables in your CRM to input your customer's name, both in the subject line and in the copy, is a big win. Emails with personalized subject lines are open 26% more than those without, which is huge when it comes to email marketing. That's a big number. And again, just like we talked about, creating those one-to-one conversation starters in your copy can improve your engagement, and always include a clear call to action so your customers know exactly what to do next. And then tailor both your drip campaigns and your mass marketing campaigns to specific audience, so you're not just blasting your entire database with the same message over and over again.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm talking about, Emily. And those are such great tips. You and I both have experience in setting up these types of drip campaigns from our dealership days. So we're not trying to pretend like that this isn't going to take a little bit of effort on your end to get them up and running. But you have something for everybody that's going to make this a lot easier, don't you?
Yes, I absolutely do. So all of the emails that we just talked about, we went ahead and created fully customizable templates so you can download them and tailor them for your use in your own CRM. Just fill in some blanks, tweak the copy to fit your dealership, and you will get your first drip campaign set up in no time.
Woohoo, you get email templates. You get email templates. All right, sorry. I always want to do that whenever we give stuff away because I'm always excited about giving stuff away. And remember, Emily just went up to 36 months here, but you could take these out, 84 months, however long you feel like you need to. I know I personally would love to hear what the whole 84-month campaign looks like, but that might not be the best use of our time. So let's keep this thing rolling. And let me ask you this, Emily, are the emails from the drip campaigns the only emails or communications that a customer is receiving during this time?
Yeah, definitely not. Supplementing those drip campaigns is so important. And monthly newsletters is a great way to do that, especially if the content isn't all sales based, but also keeps your customers aware of what you're doing in your community or even upgrades you've made on your website that make the shopping experience easier. Because I know, Jason, you talked about in a previous webinar about when you activate a tool like Online Shopper on your website, you should always send your customers an email letting them know about how much easier you just made it for them. And when it's easy, it's really just as easy as linking them to your online shopper landing page, including a quick video showing them how it works, and then taking those steps to keep your customers informed, all work toward building that customer loyalty that we're talking about.
That's right. When you make upgrades, to your house, you want to invite people over to check out the new kitchen. Same thing on the website. When you add some great new functionality like you can with Online Shopper, let people know that you just did something really cool that they are going to love. And look, everybody, I'm not trying to get all pitchy with it here, but while you can certainly do everything Emily just talked about, we know that it can take some time to get everything up and running and be consistent with your messaging. So if you need a hand, your friendly neighborhood email marketers at Dealer Inspire can help you out. If you're a DI client, just give your performance manager a shout and they can chat you up about all the ways that we can help you with your email. And Emily, I gotta say, I loved all those tips. You did such a great job. This is your very first DI webinar appearance. How did you feel about it?
Great. This was a good time.
It was a very good time, and it was a ton of fun. We should talk more about email marketing on a future webinar. So let's make sure we get you back on here. But for now, you can stick right there because we have to bring up, who do we have next here? Oh, we have Senior Performance Manager, Todd Cooper. He's joining us with some international flair, coming to us live from Canada. How's it going, Todd?
Very well, Jason. How are you doing?
I am doing great, and I really appreciate you making the time to join us here today. So when we think about our websites, we're usually thinking about how we can tailor those experiences to sell more cars and service more vehicles. But can our websites actually be used to build and maintain loyalty too?
Absolutely. Let me show you how. While customers who've already purchased a vehicle from you are going to visit your website for very specific reasons, like getting service coupons, scheduling service, or checking out some of the content that Connor will be talking about in a little bit, you can actually use your website to start setting the expectation for loyalty for those who haven't even purchased a vehicle from you yet. Your foundation for setting ownership expectations can be something simple and effective as creating a landing page that highlights the USPs, unique selling propositions of buying a vehicle from your dealership. Highlight your warranties, freebies, discounts, and all the things that give shoppers considering your dealership a few more reasons beyond price and availability to do business with you.
Right. And I really like the idea of this landing page, Todd, because dealers probably have all these things like scattered throughout their website in different pieces. but by creating like this, inspired owners club landing page that just aligns everything together and publishes it in one place, that's a really great place to start.
Absolutely. And once that landing page is set up, you can then begin to bring it to the attention of all your website visitors. You can set up a homepage slider with your awesome ownership messaging, or put it front and center on your VRPs and VDPs to start setting those ownership expectations.
Right. I mean, obviously, those are like two of the most trafficked areas on any dealership's website. So having that messaging front and center, that is a great way to, again, bring that awareness to let people know it's like, hey, when you do business with us, we're going to take care of you for a lifetime.
That's correct. Another key area to bring up some visibility to your loyalty program or ownership USPs is within your vehicle search results. Here, you'll be sure to make an impression with shoppers as they explore your inventory. Again, you're linking these sliders and banners to that landing page that will tell your customer the entire story of the experience that you provide. The latest version of our advanced messaging platform, Conversations, allows you to add in customized messages, videos, and greetings prior to shoppers engaging with your dealership in a chat. This is another piece of prime real estate where you can draw a customer's attention to your awesome ownership experience.
Yeah, Todd, and that's like the same game plan that we've talked about before in other webinars, subjects like our advanced vehicle acquisition webinar, where the goal is to align your messaging in the most visible areas on your website to deliver that consistent message wherever shoppers may go, right?
Absolutely. And with the DI platform, you can really start to get creative. Think about how you can create service coupons that are only for customers who bought their vehicle from you. Align your message to make it clear that these coupons are just for your most valuable customers. Maybe those coupons have a more aggressive offer than your regular service specials. The idea being that as a consumer is looking at your special offers, they see that you provide extra discounts or take good care of those customers. So next time around, if they didn't buy their car from you, you'll earn some of that top of mind consideration.
Right. And when you're making those service specials, be sure that you're using the DI Wallet plugin that will allow your VIPs to add those coupons right to their Apple Wallet, or anybody to add any of your coupons right to their Apple Wallet, which just makes it that much more better, right? What else you got, Todd?
Well, of course, it wouldn't be a DI webinar if we didn't talk about personalizers. Typically, when you think about creating a personalized message on your website, you're tailoring that around something sales related, based on the browsing history of a customer or geofencing a specific location to serve a specific message. But you can also create personalizers to build a sense of connection with your customers.
Wait, okay, all right, hold on. You can?
Well, think about all those emails that Emily just talked about. You're going to have links back to your website, and you're going to be using UTM codes on those links to track your traffic in Google Analytics. So it just so happens that one of the DI personalizer rules you can set is the UTM campaign variable. Setting a personalizer to display a message like, "Thank you for being one of our best customers," is a dead simple way to connect owners who click through your website via your loyalty email campaigns with a warm greeting acknowledging that they're a valued customer.
I like that.
And you can even go beyond the greeting and make them a bit more conversion friendly by including that welcome and then pointing your customer to the direction of your VIP service coupons.
Okay, yeah, that's what I love about personalizers. You have so many variables that you can play with. It's like, again, you might not be thinking about these loyalty messages, but you can so use personalizer just for that. That's some great way to do it.
Right? The world is your oyster. And seriously, for all DI clients watching today, if you're not creating personalized experiences on your website, that's something I strongly recommend you start doing. If you need some ideas on where to get started, just reach out to your performance manager and they can collaborate with you on ways to set up personalizers that will help you achieve your goals.
Nice. What else can we do on our website to build that loyal customer base?
Yeah. So, when it comes to transactional experiences, if you're retaining your customers in your service department, then obviously your fixed ops department has a few more chances per year to build upon that lasting impression and loyalty. But similar to what we're talking about with the ownership landing page, you can also create a service-based landing page that gets deeper into the benefits of using your dealership for service. COVID changed the game for a lot of dealerships, both in the United States and up here in Canada. And it's not uncommon to see dealerships offering VIP service hours, oil change fast lanes, at-home pickup or drop-off services, referral and loyalty programs. Essentially take all of these unique selling features that you have and create that service-specific landing page for owners.
Right. Very, very similar to what we were talking about, what you were talking about first with the overall landing page. Now you're creating another one just for service to show that off too.
Yeah. And Jason, for the last one here, going back to the loyalty equation of experience marketing and communications, dealers with conversations can really step up their communication game to improve their overall loyalty. One of the awesome features of conversations is the ability to text your customers videos. There's quite a few applications for this, especially in the service department. Whether it's a quick video letting your customer know that their vehicle is ready to be picked up, or you're creating a video while the customer's vehicle is up in the air to show specific problems that need to be taken care of. Sending out these types of communication are going to make a bigger, longer lasting impact and drive loyalty.
Yeah, and I'm 100% with you on that one, my man. A personalized video in the dealership is definitely an untapped source for creativity, and there's no better way to differentiate yourself from the competition than with video. So Todd, that was all good stuff. We're actually going to see you again in a little bit, so just hang out there, don't go anywhere. But next up, we got to keep this thing moving and bring on digital advertising senior specialist Amy Novotny. Hi, Amy, how are you?
Hey, Jason, I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing amazing. Okay, the show is yours. So let's talk about how you can target and market to your customers to drive loyalty. Where do we start on this?
Yes, let's do this. So when it comes to reaching your customers beyond email, the main thing here to remember is that you do have a secret weapon at your disposal, and that's your first-party data within your CRM. So using that data to reach your sales and service customers can really be the difference between your dealership staying top of mind versus losing them to your competitor.
Okay, Amy, I am really excited to see what you're talking about. Can we look at a few examples?
Yes, let's do it. So generally, we'd start with creating a custom audience from your CRM made up of customers who have expiring leases in the next 6 months or so, and then using that as targeting in a search campaign. So if you set up those drip campaigns that Emily talked about earlier, your customers will already be getting reminders when their leases are due. They'll also be getting communications from the lending institution, and your salespeople or BDC will probably be calling or texting reminders as well. And all those things are great because they all work together to keep your dealership top of mind. But like you talked about earlier, because you're only getting a new vehicle every so often, most customers are going to want to look around and explore their options. So having that search campaign set up to target customers searching on Google for lease-related keywords and then bidding up on those specific users to ensure your dealership is in that top ad position lets you make that impression again with your customer.
Yeah, it's kind of like magic there. You know, you have all these communications going out, which is part of that loyalty equation, but also having your bases covered for when they turn to search, if they turn to search, that you are there as well. And they see you're either like, hey, that's my dealership. And so you're giving them a good reason to re-engage with you in that moment, even if that wasn't their initial intent when they turned to search. I really like that. How else can dealers use their first-party data in their digital advertising campaigns?
Yeah, so similar to that lease retention campaign, we can also create a list of customers who purchased a vehicle 4 years ago or whatever you want to choose from you. And again, bid up on those customers when they're using high intent, low funnel shopping keywords in their searches. Again, the idea here is just ensuring that you're not losing out to your competition when the customer turns to Google search first.
Yeah, and Amy, I want to make sure we're not understating this. You know, that flip side that I mentioned earlier to the lack of loyalty that persists in the industry today is the simple fact that it's easier for your competitors to conquest your customers these days, right?
Exactly. Honestly, could probably build an entire strategy around identifying those competitors who aren't engaged in this sort of loyalty-based strategy and then aggressively going after those shoppers to make them your own. But we probably be on here for 3 hours, so maybe we can table that for the next webinar.
You know what? Maybe that's the sequel to this webinar. Is now that you have your loyalty strategy in place, here's how you go take everyone else's customers. I'd so be into that. But sorry, got distracted. Let's keep moving. What other types of campaigns can benefit from a dealer's first-party CRM data?
Yes, so fixed ops. As seen in the example here, we are able to take into account factors such as the person searching for an oil change who purchased a car from you within the last 2 years, but hasn't been into the service department for 6 months. We consider that pretty low funnel search intent from one of your own customers, and we definitely don't want to lose them to your competitor or someone else. So we want to make sure we bid up on them in that moment to make sure your dealership is right there waiting for them with a compelling offer.
Yeah, and that's another big one because like we're all busier than ever. And Amy, are you like me? I'm more likely to think, how many oil changes can I skip before my engine blows up?
Yeah. Yeah,
as opposed to like the people who show up
exactly.
every day for regular maintenance. So look, even though the average customer might not be thinking about you for service, you can make sure that when they do search for service, that you are there. So I really like what you're thinking here, Amy. And then moving away from search, what other tools do we have at our disposal?
Yeah, great question. So your first party data can also come in handy to help retain your customers with a maturing lease. So again, this is part of that connected lease retention strategy. You have the email drips from your drip campaigns, your proactive outreach, the paid search campaigns, and now you can take those same customers from your CRM with a lease due in the next 3 to 6 months and meet them in their newsfeed to remind them that their lease is ending soon and entice them to start shopping with you now.
Yeah, and meeting your customers on social is definitely a great way to drive that your lease is expiring soon messaging, right? And
Mhm.
pro tip, if your OEM has active loyalty incentives, lease loyalty incentive, be sure you'd want to incorporate that in your ad copy too, right?
Yes, exactly. Great call out. Okay, so now we can take this all a step further. If you use our online retailing solution, Online Shopper, we recently added a new feature that allows you to incorporate special links into any VIN specific ad that, when clicked, it'll take the user directly to your website and automatically open up that online shopper experience that you see here on the slide, where your customer can immediately start putting together their own deal on their next vehicle.
Yeah, and this is a big one, Amy. This is just too powerful an experience to not use. Again, any event specific ads. So it can be your search campaigns, social ads, email, and it seems shoppers are like really, really into this experience, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have been running social campaigns using these online shopper links for clients on Facebook, and we saw a 47% lower cost per lead, which is always super exciting.
Very, very exciting.
Yeah. So moving on here, we know that it's not uncommon for OEMs to put loyalty incentives to give owners another reason to stick around with that brand. So Online Shopper has the ability to incorporate these conditional rebates into the shopping flow where users can self-select the rebates that apply to them. So if you're wondering, which I know some of you are, this feature for Online Shopper is not turned on by default. So if you're going to get serious about these loyalty efforts, make sure you get these conditional rebates turned on so your customers don't miss out on seeing those available rebates that reward their loyalty.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with that. And I believe I think you have one more thing to go over with us, right?
I do. So last thing I want to bring up is simply a way to rethink how you remarket to customers who have already purchased a vehicle from you. So kind of thinking fixed ops here when kind of recommend creating a list of customers who haven't been on your website in 6 months in order to try to get them back on your site. We could also exclude more recent website visitors and target users who, let's say, haven't been on the site in the last 90 days, and then reaching them with awareness ads. And then the last option here is going to be turning to social and reaching audiences that have engaged with your dealer page on Facebook and Instagram, whether that engagement is post likes, comments, video views, etc., all the above. The idea here being that the person is already engaging with your content, so that means they're probably already a customer. So using that engagement data to remarket to those customers on social media just kind of makes sense. And then the last note, promise, when talking about messaging for this strategy, it is best to give those returning customers a message that's unique to them. For example, returning customers get X amount off a service, or even just a welcome back, incentivizing them to revisit you and your team at the dealership.
Amy, that's just awesome. And everything you said there made a ton of sense. Thank you for being here on the show today and help us discover how we can shift the aim of our marketing to target our own customers. Feel free to hang out here on camera while we bring on our SEO supervisor extraordinaire, Connor Bonham. Connor, how the heck are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm better every time I see your face, Jason.
Stop. Oh my gosh. Okay, enough. I know you always bring the good stuff when it comes to SEO, but I can't help but wonder, on behalf of our viewers, how the heck does SEO play a role in improving your loyalty rate?
Well, that's kind of the perfect question to ask. I'd answer it by saying that the experience you provide on your website is a crucial part of providing that next level experience we're talking about here. In fact, 80% of consumers believe that the experience they have with a company is just as important as the products and services. And for many shoppers, your website is often the first experience they'll have with your brand. And typically, they're coming to your website from search. How many times have we said it over the years? Your website is a reflection of your dealership. If it's fast, intuitive, and easy to use, then shoppers will think doing business with your dealership is the same. If your website is a hot mess full of distractions and really frustrating experiences, then yeah, they're more likely to think that doing business with you is just as frustrating. And remember, good SEO means that you're targeting the user first and then search engines later.
Right. So building upon that experience, it's necessary for sure. But let's talk about SEO specifically here, Connor, and the role like content plays with a loyalty marketing strategy.
For sure. I know it might kind of sound backwards to talk about SEO content as a way to actually retain customers, when typically SEO is viewed as something you do to acquire customers. But there's one thing that you can't deny. After a customer buys a car from you, they really don't have much of a reason to visit your website anymore, and maintain that connection a few times, aside from a few times that they decide to use your service schedule or something like that. So the key thing to remember about SEO is that the content you publish is created for real people with real questions, not just search engines. So by creating content that you can push to your current customers, you'll give them a reason to come back to your website, all while also serving the purpose of acquiring new customers in the service.
That just sounds like a good old-fashioned win-win to me. So what kind of content are we talking about here?
There are a few different content lanes that you can fill that'll satisfy the need to keep your customers connected with your dealership. I'd say how-to style content is probably the most useful place to start. I know dealers have very specific delivery processes where the salesperson gives the customer a demonstration on how to use everything in the car. But I don't care how deep into the details you get, you're never going to be able to show your customer everything, nor will they remember everything that you showed them. So creating content that teaches your customers how to get the most out of their vehicle is a great place to start.
Yeah, and I was going to say, being from my car selling days of doing those deliveries, I can speak to the fact that customers will remember everything you showed them. I remember I had one come back who was upset that he thought he was sold a car where the seats didn't fold down because he couldn't find the thing. But no, the seats folded down just fine. He just didn't know that they were there, even though I showed them that they were there. So yes, that kind of how-to content makes a lot of sense. What other type of content should we be looking at here, Connor?
There's another huge opportunity with local content. Think blog posts like 10 best taco joints in your area or the top touristy things to do in your town. Using your team's own authoritative and expert resources to put together these lists has multiple benefits. In our experience, they rank really, really well for local searches. They're also kind of a backlink goldmine because you're actually talking about those other businesses, and then you can write to them and have them link to your site because you featured them. And then lastly, when it comes to loyalty, this kind of content shows that you actually care and are invested in that community as well.
And local content really is like my favorite type of content to publish on the dealer's blog for all the reasons you just said, because it's hard to beat useful content that ranks, drives traffic, earns backlink, and drives loyalty, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then our last content type that your current owners will find useful is model content. Now that can be content about the latest model releases, or it can be comparisons between a model and a model that your dealership sells and a competitive model. Again, these types of content pieces can rank really, really well with organic searches, but you have to do it right, especially when you think about comparison content. It's human nature to not want to make it look like your model doesn't outperform the competitive model across all the comparison points, but leaving off a detail from a comparison like horsepower or fuel economy because your model scores slightly lower isn't going to help you. Remember, Google looks at the most authoritative content pieces to rank, and if you're leaving out an important piece of that story, then you're not going to get that top ranking. But more importantly, you're not going to be able to help your customer during the next shopping journey. If you want an example from an OEM level, Subaru has really taken this approach to heart. Not only do they mention their competitors by name in their comparison content, which quite frankly, many OEMs just won't do, also don't shy away from the times when a feature or spec doesn't win the head-to-head battle with a competitive model.
Yeah, and I really like that approach to content. But like you're saying, this is SEO content, and we think of it being discovered via search. So what are we doing with this content to make sure that our customers are seeing it to drive loyalty?
Great question. So here's the great thing about publishing how-to, local, or model content. Those pieces of content become the foundation to your other marketing efforts. That one blog post that shows people how to reset the tire pressure light on their Toyota Camry can also be included as a tip in your monthly email newsletter. You can build organic social posts around it. And of course, if crafted properly, you can also gain a top SEO ranking with it. In the case of the example here, this particular piece of content holds a featured snippet for that exact query.
Right. And that's like always been the key for SEO content, going beyond publishing it on your website and taking that extra step to distribute across your marketing channels to drive more traffic and build those connections specifically for what we're talking about here.
Exactly. It really is the best of both worlds. But from a pure SEO standpoint, here's some quick examples of that how-to or ownership style content that we've published for our clients and how they really dominate the SERPs.
Yeah, I mean, there's some great examples here, and I know there's like dozens, if not hundreds, of more of these. We have a channel, Inside Baseball. We've got a channel dedicated to this type of stuff in Slack, where we see these come across all the time. But the one on the screen here that just tickles me the most is that what is Mercedes A&B service that is driving a dealership almost half of their organic traffic. That just goes to show the power of that type of content, right?
Exactly. And so we've talked about it plenty of times in the past, but if you haven't claimed and optimized the Google My Business listing for your service department, you'll definitely want to do that. Even your most loyal customers probably don't have your phone number programmed into their phone or have the service page on your website bookmarked to their browser. I know I don't. So when a customer turns to search to look for your dealership for their service department, make sure that they're getting an easy access to all the most relevant information, like your service reviews, direct links to your service landing page, your service hours, and phone number. If you don't have a separate listing, think about that customer that searches for you, only finds your main listing and gets the sales department hours instead of your service department hours. They show up, service is closed, and now you've created a poor experience. They're not coming back.
Right. And I think we can all relate to that, right? But a follow-up question is how many people actually still make web bookmarks, aside from my mom? Do people still do that? Panelists, do you guys bookmark things? No. So we're turning to search, right?
I do just because I have like 1,500 tabs open all the time. But that's just a me problem.
That's just a Connor problem. But for the most part, your customers aren't going to bookmark your service landing page, to Connor's point. They're going to turn to search. So you want to make sure that that is accurate. So how else does SEO play a role in building this loyalty, Connor?
More broadly speaking, ranking well for fixed ops terms that aren't your brand can really create loyalty from users who didn't think to use your dealership for service. So having non-branded service rankings, good service reviews, and Google Post service offers can help create loyalty. So SEO for fixed ops in general is a huge opportunity for most dealers. It's half of your dealership's business, yet often dealerships don't give it the attention it needs to thrive. Our SEO specialists always incorporate service content as part of their ongoing strategy to ensure that all the most important bases are being covered.
Yeah, and when it comes to fixed ops, if you missed it not too long ago, we did an entire webinar on fixed ops marketing, which you can check out in the archives over on dealerinspired.com. But let's keep this moving, Connor. What else do we have to talk about?
Well, I mentioned reviews there as it relates to service, but let's talk about how reviews in general transfer the trust from your happy and loyal customers to those who are searching for a dealership to do business with. When as a shopper you see reviews like these, it's hard not to feel confidence knowing that customers are stating how many times they've purchased a vehicle from that dealership. And how you can too. I mean, look at this one right here. This person writes that they're on their 5th Acura from this dealership and has been their customer for over 18 years. 18 years, Jason.
It's a lifetime.
If that's not confidence, it really is. If that's not confidence in the loyalty building with a review, I don't really know what it is.
And look, I'm just freestyling here, but after seeing like these reviews where people are like, this is my 4th, this is my 5th, this is my 18th, you could put together a list from your CRM of all your loyal customers that have purchased multiple vehicles from you and reach out to those folks with an email, right? And ask them to leave a review for you if they haven't already, to talk about that long-term relationship that they've had with your dealership. So reviews, like, they are this great tool to transfer that trust, but they are also like directly good for SEO too, right, Connor?
Absolutely. Reviews written on DealerRater, Google, Cars.com, Yelp, wherever are all great for SEO. It's free content written by other people about your dealership, and the keywords that are used in those reviews can be crawled, indexed, and associated with your dealership. So beyond the review count, beyond the transfer of trust, reviews are going to help your dealership's overall visibility.
Yeah, and what about the impact reviews have on like just the pure local SEO side of things?
It's really pretty simple. High quality, positive reviews will improve your dealership's visibility for related searches. And that's not me saying that, Jason. That's Google saying that. You know as well as I do that Google doesn't come out often and say what will and won't help you in the search results. But here they're very clear. So again, whether you're sending your own review gen emails as part of your drip campaigns, or you're using Review Builder from DealerRater to automatically solicit those reviews, implementing a process to continuously generate fresh reviews is going to help your organic rankings, and it's going to help you lay the foundation for loyalty.
Yeah, and without getting too deep into the review conversation, considering we've done an entire webinar on that as well. Again, check it out in the archives over at dealerinspire.com. I would be remiss if we didn't talk about responding to reviews, right? Because that's pretty important.
100%. Obviously, you want to respond to all the reviews, both positive and negative, that come in. But really quick, I also want to clear up a myth that I've seen floating around out there. I've seen some people suggest that your review responses should be keyword heavy because they'll be crawled and indexed along with a user's review. Let me say that's just not true. While you definitely want to write back with thoughtful replies, please note that search engines only care about what the user wrote, not what you wrote. What they do care about is that you're responding. That indirectly helps your local SEO efforts. Now, with that out of the way, your review responses are going to be read. 71% of people say that they're more likely to do business with a business that responds to their reviews. And because it can get super busy at the dealership, especially if you're part of an automotive group, keeping up with all those incoming reviews can be a very, very big job. That's where auto response from DealerRater comes in. They have a team of reputation management specialists that will personally respond to every review for you to build your brand loyalty, show future shoppers that you provide a great customer service and experience, and give you back valuable time to focus on the experience that generates great reviews in the first place.
Like selling and servicing more cars. And that's what I love about auto response, because it's real people crafting unique responses to your reviews. They're not just copying and pasting the same thing over and over again. And double bonus extra pro tip, if you are responding to your own reviews, don't copy and paste the same thing over and over again. Take the time to be thoughtful about those replies. Well, Connor, my man, thank you so much for breaking down the role that SEO is going to play in our overall loyalty strategy. As always, you were awesome. And to round out the show here, let's bring back Todd, because he is going to show us a very cool way to retain more of your lease customers using Automatic. But first, Todd, can you just get everyone up to speed on what Automatic is and what it does?
Yeah, Jason. Automatic is simply what we call the dealer interface for online shopper. It's your interactive view into everything that the customer is doing in their digital garage on your website. You see the vehicles they've selected, the payments they've chosen, their financial preferences, their trade-in, conditional offers, hand raisers. It's all there. But it's not just that visibility. Automatic gives you all the tools you need to virtually desk those deals. And you can pull all the levers with Automatic that you'd be able to if the customer was sitting right in your showroom at the desk across from you. So while Automatic is a huge part of managing deals that started with Online Shopper, we've recently rolled out a new feature within Automatic that lets you create a digital garage for any customer from any lead source, no matter how you found them. And with that new capability, that means you can use Automatic to help improve your lease retention rate.
Okay, Todd, I'm like super excited to see this. We are going to use Automatic to help keep more of our own lease customers. Can you just like tell us how it works?
You know what? I think I can do better than that. How about I just show you guys how it works?
All right, you guys ready? Emily, Amy, Connor? All right, let's do this. Todd, let's go.
I have a list of current lessees that I need to follow up with. First up on my list is Amy Novotny.
Wow.
She leased a 2018 Ford Escape from us almost 3 years ago, and she's been paying around $475 a month, and she put $3,000 down in signing. Instead of calling and trying to sell the appointment, I'm going to text a lease reminder with a personalized recommendation that she can explore, customize, and check out in real time. All I have to do is enter her here as a new customer, first name, last name, phone number, and zip code. Then I can add vehicles to her garage. I know that this vehicle, 2021 Ford Escape SE, matches almost identically to what she's driving now and her payment. But what if she wants to consider something with a little bit more bells and whistles? So I added in this SEL model as well for her consideration that's got leather and a sunroof. And what if she's had a lifestyle change and is maybe ready for something bigger? So I added this 2021 Ford Edge for her to compare. Now I can present her with a good, better, best scenario. And because I'm the one pulling all those levers, I can make sure that the deal is appealing for Amy and makes sense for us at the dealership. Now I just need to send these vehicles to her. So I'm going to click the share via text button here, which will let me send Amy a magic link with her own personal garage. And all my message needs to do is say, hey, we're thinking ahead and building loyalty, and we've created some options for you to compare before your lease expires. I can paste in a message here. It says, hey, Amy.
Oh, I really wanted to watch you type that.
Wow, in the lieu of time and spelling mistakes. So I'm going to click send here with a message and see what Amy gets.
There it is. Todd at Inspire Ford. Hey, Todd.
It's magic. All right. So not to put you on the spot, Amy.
I think I might need to chat with my father to see what he thinks, and then we'll
just get the Edge.
Okay.
You'll love it. It's a great vehicle. You really will. And that is how you use Automatic to improve your lease retention. And everybody, that's how you keep more of your own customers, because that's all we have for today. I hope you were taking notes. I hope you grabbed some screenshots, but let's review everything one last time. Your first step is you're going to go beyond the blast to be more intentional with your email marketing efforts. You are going to optimize your website experience to build and foster loyal customers. You're going to greet your customers wherever they go online. You're going to publish content that improves the vehicle ownership experience. And you are going to provide an engaging shopping experience before your lease customers, before they can start shopping on their own. I have to take 1 minute and just thank one last time Emily McReynolds, Todd Cooper, Amy Novotny, and Connor Bottom. Thank you all so much for being here on the show. You guys
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Jason.
It was exciting. I hope to see you back again. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching along. If you want to talk about anything that we covered today and you're a Dealer Inspire client, just reach out to your performance manager, and they'll be happy to talk to you through any kind of strategy for improving your owner loyalty. And if you're not a DI client and you want to learn more about our products and services, you know what? We're new age here. We got the technology. Scan that QR code right now. And you can join an instant chat conversation experience with one of our teammates. We'll be more than happy to help you out. So with that, I'm Jason Stumma, Dealer Inspire. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
See you next time.